at the Penny Appeal. Ahmad Bostan, good to see you this morning. With the arrival of this ship off the coast there and in the Mediterranean, how long do you think it will be before those 200 tons of food start to make their way out to where it's most needed?
A very good morning, Sam. Unfortunately, the situation on the ground in Gaza is the worst that it's been for an extremely long time. The ship, whilst it is, of course, extremely welcome and necessary, is only a drop in the ocean in terms of the needs of the people of Gaza. And unfortunately, there have been a lot of delays, as we can see at the moment, with a substantial amount of aid simply not being able to make it through into Gaza. And the reason for that is because the natural way of getting aid in, i.e., by the ground, has been severely restricted, resulting in now over 570,000 people in Gaza, a quarter of the entire population, being one step away from famine, as you've heard the United Nations say on a number of occasions. So whilst it is extremely welcome, I am very, very worried about the amount of time it will take for this aid to reach the people who need it. And the scale of aid is nowhere near what the people of Gaza require at the moment.
Yeah, it's estimated to be about 3%, from my understanding. And land access is the easiest, most efficient way, isn't it, to get that aid around? Reports of thousands of trucks queuing up at the border. What is happening with those trucks? How long do they wait there? How long is the aid before it becomes perished?
It's a very, very difficult situation, Sam. Just to give you an example, you've had some trucks over there that have been waiting weeks to get through. Even some of our own trucks that we as Penny Appeal have provided of aid have been there for literally weeks, and we are nowhere clearer on when those trucks will be able to go past the border. And the reality is that whilst we are relying on supplies within Gaza to help keep people alive, they are also running extremely slow and low at the moment, which is resulting in a devastating situation whereby the basic needs of particularly the most vulnerable of Gaza's population are not being met. Just to give you an example in terms of mathematical terms, you require over 500 trucks to cross the border every day to even begin to meet the basic needs of the people of Gaza. It's a good day, sadly, when trucks, even in double or triple digits, cross that border. Right now, there's over 1,000 trucks, for example, waiting to cross the border. And I don't know how many days or how many weeks it will take for those trucks to cross the border. So it is extremely difficult. And unfortunately, lives are being lost as a result of these unacceptable delays.
Lives are also being lost, aren't they, amongst Palestinians who are gathering to try and get to this aid. Contested accounts from both sides about what is going on there, whether they've been shot at by Israeli forces or whether there's been a stampede or Palestinian gunmen have opened fire on them. Difficult for us to tell without being able to examine the footage. But regardless, there is a security and law and order problem there, isn't there? What is needed to help the distribution of this aid in a more secure and stable way?
As humanitarian organizations, we've been extremely clear over a number of weeks and months now that what we require is an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. Of course, as humanitarian organizations, the politics is not something that we get involved in, but on humanitarian grounds, we see a catastrophe of a magnitude that has never been witnessed before. And all we ask for is that no matter who people are, no matter where they come from, they should be given a right to basic essentials like food, water, medicine, medical care, absolute essentials that are becoming extremely difficult to provide at the moment. Even a glass of water costing $52 in the northern part of Gaza. And now, as you see the offensive spread to the southern part of Gaza and Rafah itself, which has been the hub of humanitarian delivery in months and years gone by, also being the subject of significant fighting, people are literally fighting for their lives and fighting for survival. And unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be even a speck of hope in sight. As you mentioned in your introduction, a number of talks going on, but sadly they've been going on for many weeks. And while they're going on, over 31,000 people, the majority of them women and children, have lost their lives in Gaza, with many more tens of thousands injured. And this situation simply can't go on.
You must be very worried about news that the Israeli government has approved plans for this ground operation in Rafah, where there are 1.3 million civilians.
It is extremely, extremely worrying. And if you look at Rafah itself and the landmass of Rafah, it was already overcrowded when 270,000 people were forced to go there just a few weeks ago. And now you're seeing a population concentrated into an extremely small piece of land where it's impossible to provide the aid that civilians require. And also, at the same time, it's impossible to provide those safe corridors of aid for humanitarian organizations. It is simply the ground access that we're asking for. And I think the UK Foreign Secretary has also called upon the powers that be to actually look at the Ashdod port, for example, and that needs to be opened. So many areas that could be open that are not being opened for humanitarian access, and that is really a travesty that we're witnessing before our eyes at the moment.
Ahmad Bostan, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much indeed.